Hey friends! Of all the meals, breakfast tends to be the most challenging, especially when we're trying to get morning tasks done and everyone is rushing to get ready, particularly on days when we need to leave early. My family likes to have really yummy breakfasts, but some morning can be really hectic, and to be honest, I don't like to always pull everything out and make it. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, but I've found that planning ahead and having a few meals prepped in advance really helps make those mornings run more smoothly. Today I'll share some of my top breakfast ideas to store in the freezer to make mornings less stressful. This way we could grab and go all week long. Plus, these recipes are also quite cheap with ingredients that you probably already have in the fridge and pantry. So you're going to see lots of eggs, potatoes, onion, cheese, sausage, and the cool thing is that cheap meals do not have to be yucky or boring at all. In fact, they can be really tasty, so today I'm going to be showing you guys a few recipes that won't break the bank, but that will still be very nutritious and comforting and very quick to make. I'm starting with a delicious tortilla de patatas, which is basically a loaded omelette finished in the oven, but tastier than a regular omelette. The base of this recipe is lots of eggs, lots of potatoes and onions, and I love it because it is customizable. You can add different types of cheeses and meats like sausage, bacon, shredded chicken, or even seafood like smoked salmon or shrimp. You can also add any vegetable you like as long as it's not very watery. Honestly, when I make this recipe, I like to just use whatever vegetables and meats I already have. Today I'll go with salami, tuna, onion, yellow peppers, of course potatoes, some feta and Gruyere cheese. I will also add some leftover green onions and dill too, just because I bought them in the weekend and they already started to wilt a bit, so I need to use them before they go bad. What I love about freezer meals is that you can plan and stay within a food budget. By planning ahead, I can prepare everything in just a few hours, and once they are ready, I have a variety of quick, easy, and healthy meals on hand, which helps us resist the temptation to go out and eat whatever just because we are hungry, fast food or other processed and healthy foods. So here I am prepping all my vegetables. I've already peeled my potatoes, but you can choose not to. Just scrub them very well and dice them in small cubes. In my opinion, waxy potatoes with a lower starch content work best, like Yukon Gold or red potatoes, because they tend to hold their shape a little bit better when cooked. The key to this dish is cutting everything very small because all the ingredients need to be cooked through before adding your egg mixture. So next I'm going to heat two pans that can be used in the oven too, because we are going to finish our two tortillas in the oven. I'm using a cast iron pan and a large stainless steel skillet. I am quickly sauteing my potatoes in avocado oil and some water, and I'll cook them on a medium-high heat for about 10 minutes, turning occasionally until potatoes are just fork tender. While my potatoes are cooking, I chop the rest of the vegetables, my onions and yellow peppers, and they'll go in the pan with my potatoes. Now we just have to stir and wait until onions turn soft and golden brown. As you can see, mine just needs a little bit more time, but now is the perfect time to add my salami. Because it's already cooked, it will only need a few minutes to brown up. If you use raw meats, you'll have to add them before adding the onions. I'll be making 2 tortillas today. In one of them, I'll use salami as my source of protein. The other one is for my husband, who is not a fan of carbs. So I'll be using less potatoes and I'll add instead tuna and Kalamata olives. Because it is so protein rich, it usually keeps us full for a very long time, and if it's a busy day, I can even skip lunch with no issues. I crack the eggs into a bowl and season with about half a teaspoon of salt. Beat the eggs together and pour over the cooked potatoes and onions and toast to coat. I'm adding about half a cup of pitted olives to my tuna tortilla and some shredded Gruyere on top. Now we just need to be patient and allow the uncooked eggs to settle on a low to medium flame. You can also cover the pan with a lid. This will speed up the process a little bit. Okay guys, eggs taste very rubbery when overcooked, so it is time now to finish them in the oven. Well, actually the broiler. You just have to be very careful not to burn them. In my case, it took approximately 2 to 3 minutes on a high heat setting to achieve that golden beautiful crust. I will leave my 2 tortillas to cool down on the counter and proceed with my next dish, which is my favorite on-the-go breakfast meal, a sausage and egg biscuit breakfast sandwich. Homemade biscuits are built for batch preparation, so you can make enough to keep you stocked with hot breakfasts all week long. I'll start with making the buns, which is actually a very easy process. You will find the exact measurements in the video description. You just basically mix flour and cold butter, salt, sugar, baking soda and baking powder. Then add buttermilk, yogurt or even milk, whatever you prefer. Today I'm using kefir because this is what I have on hand. Don't overwork the dough. Keep in mind that you want your butter to stay as cold as possible when making these biscuits. Definitely do not use an electric mixer for this recipe. I'm using a rolling pin to flatten the dough, but you can also use your hands. You can actually give them any shape you like. I'll go with square buns this time, so what I like to do is press my cutter straight down into the dough and give them nice and clean edges. Now I drop my biscuits on a baking sheet and bake them on 400 degrees for around 15 minutes or until tops are beginning to just turn lightly golden brown. While my biscuits are browning, I wanted to quickly show you my tortillas. They cooled down, so now I can safely remove them from the pan. If you are using Teflon or a non-stick pan, you don't have to wait for your food to cool. You can just remove it basically immediately, but you still need to let it cool completely before freezing it. I like to cut my tortillas into small portions for my son's breakfast, and also because it's easier to store, defrost and reheat individual pieces. Guys, if you are curious how I freeze my meals and how I reheat them, just leave me a comment and I will be very happy to show you how I do it in a future video. My biscuits are also done, but we're not done with this meal yet because I still need to do my sausage patties and eggs. I have some pork sausage links in my fridge and I'll use them to make my patties, but you can definitely make them from scratch using pork round and spices. In this case, I always use a food processor or a stand mixer with a paddle attachment to combine all the ingredients and achieve that sausage-like texture. Lucky me, today I don't have to deal with my stand mixer because I already have sausages. So I'll just quickly remove the casing and form my patties. Shape-wise, they won't look as perfect as store-bought, but that's okay with me. I guess this is the beauty of home cooking and making things with your own hands. Sometimes they don't look as nice as store-bought versions, but I think they always taste better. So I'll fry my patties in batches, then tackle my fried eggs. So guys, sometimes I prefer a fried egg in my breakfast sandwich. Other times I prefer an omelette. For today's meal, I decided to go with omelette. I'll beat a couple of eggs and fry individual portions. I like making them very thin, almost like crepe. And once I'm done with them, I can assemble the sandwiches. These are really tasty. You can even add a slice of cheese. It's actually even better. When you reheat them, the cheese will melt and bind the layers together. And guys, it's hands down my favorite fast food style meal. Alright, and for this last meal, I am making something that I would consider a treat. Every now and then I enjoy a sweet breakfast, and this next recipe is one I come back again and again because it is not only decadent and tender and delicious, but it is actually not that bad for you. It has very little flour. It is basically cheese and eggs, some vanilla extract, and a bit of sugar or honey. They look like mini pancakes but taste like cheesecake, and we always serve them topped with sour cream and strawberry jam. For this recipe, it's mandatory to use fresh cheese. I find queso fresco works best because it's drier than most fresh cheeses like ricotta or cottage cheese. So the thing is that if your cheese is too wet, you'll have to add lots of flour to compensate, and you will end up with a very doughy pancake. And because there's no leavening agent like baking powder or baking soda, they might get a little too dense. They will still taste good, but in my opinion, not as nice as when you use very little flour. So this is the secret to perfect, tender, moist cheese pancakes. Well, as I said, it's a pancake and cheesecake hybrid, but I'll just call them cheese pancakes. My second choice, if you can't find queso fresco, would be to make your own fresh cheese using whole milk and lemon juice. So you just mix everything together: cheese, eggs, sugar, vanilla and flour, and fry them in some butter on a low to medium flame. When they are done, they should be slightly crispy on the outside and soft and delicious on the inside. They taste phenomenal and freeze really well. My 2-year-old can devour a whole plate in absolutely no time. I hope you all enjoyed this video and maybe found some new meal inspirations or ideas to try out. And please let me know in the comments what your favorite freezer breakfast dishes are or what's on your breakfast menu this week. I love getting new ideas because it's easy to fall into a routine of making the same meals over and over. So it's always exciting to see what others are cooking and get inspired. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel if you liked my video and hit the bell icon so you get a notification every time I upload a video. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!